What's up guys, my name is Johan Lund and today I'm checking out a revolutionizing mixing plugin from STL Tones, the ControlHub.
You were the one I used to turn to when my days were dark and gray. Where's the times you pulled me through? A compass when I was astray.
ControlHub allows you to load entire signal chain based expansion packs from your favorite mixing engineers, producers and recording studios. The expansion packs that are available right now are from people such as Will Putney, Mark Lewis, Machine the Producer, Neil Averon and the Castle Recording Studios. So with the way that this plugin models entire signal chains from your favorite producers, you can basically have Will Putney mix your song. And who wouldn't want that, right? For this demo, I've loaded up a track from my own band, As We Collapse, and I'm gonna mix it entirely by using ControlHub. So let's head over to the DAW and start mixing. Alright, so let's check out how I have my session set up here. It's your basic modern metal setup with some drums, programmed bass in this case. I have some rhythm guitars, some clean guitars, and some EBO effect down here. I have some keys and some effects, and both screaming and clean vocals. And if we take a look at the mixer down here, I have, as I said, no other third-party plugins going on besides a standard gain plugin here from Studio One that's included in the DAW when you buy it, just to control some gain to get some proper gain structure. And if we take a closer look to the session, we can see that all the tracks are routed to individual buses, as the drums are in this case, if you could see here. And the bass, and rhythm guitars, clean guitars, EBO, synths and so forth. The vocals are also routed to their separate buses. And there is where I'm gonna use the processing with the ControlHub. And as far as the drums go, I have both real drums and also samples. And the samples have no processing on them as well, other than some leveling to get them to sit better with each other. And there's a couple of samples that are blended together and mixed down to a stereo file.
You were the one I used to turn to when my days were dark and gray. A compass when I was astray. But now you show a different side, a side that you try to hide. Curtain! You let me down, broke my heart in two. Slapped a knife in my back as soon as you could.
Yes, as you can hear, the mix is pretty well balanced, but it has no life to it. It has no punch. I want some saturation to it, maybe some distortion as well to just bring out some fatness into the mix basically. So let's start the process how I normally do and start off with the kick and move forward with the rest of the drums and then go on with the other instruments. So let's starting off with the kick and let's solo it and check out how it sounds unprocessed. And it's a pure kick sample. And there's no natural kick in this audio file. So let's hear how it sounds. Yep, nice sample I got going there. It's a sample that I normally use for metal productions. It's got a nice sub and a cool top end, but it's a bit boxy and it needs a bit more control of the low end and a bit more punch to it. So let's start up ControlHub here and then choose a preset pack. It's I can try the Will Putney and drums. Let's just toggle through these presets and see how it sounds with those engaged, starting off with kick, boom and then moving forward. Let's solo it and check it out. Yep, kick punch sounded the best to me. Control the low end a bit more, and nice top end punch to it as well. So I'm gonna stick with that and move on with the snare, and starting off with the real snare and see how that sounds unprocessed. And it's both the top and bottom mic mixed together, and has some gating as well to it to remove some of the hi-hats and cymbals and stuff. But other than that, there's no processing. It's the face is flipped from the top and bottom snare mic. But other than that, it's totally raw. So let's check it out. That sounds really good. My drummer hits really hard, so I'm lucky to have him as my drummer. So Fabs is an awesome drummer. Thank you for that. But I think we need some sample as well to just enhance it. And the samples that I've chosen and put together sounds like this with no processing. Just what the snare needs to complement it. A bit more top end bite to it, a bit more punch. So let's check out how they sound together. Yeah, more close to the snare sound that I like to hear in a mix. But I think we can juice it up a bit. So let's open up ControlHub. Check out the Will Putney pack again. Go to drums and toggle through these presets and see what they do to the sound. Yeah, the snare punch really did it for me. It has some nice coloration and some compression and EQ, which really punched up the drum significantly. I think it maybe was a bit too much, so I used the mix button right there, right down here, and the mix knob, should I said, and went down to like 80%, and I thought that that was enough for processing, since I had the sample pretty loud in comparison to the real snare. So I thought that it sounded really cool. So let's check out the kick and snare together and see how they complement each other. And without any processing. Yeah, sounds a bit more like a unison kick and snare. The snare is not as pokey as it was before, and the kick has some bit controlled low end, scooped out the mids, and had some nice click to it. So I'm really happy with that. Move over to toms. This is going significantly faster than I usually would spend dialing in some drum tones. So so far really good. So let's check out this portion here where we have all three drums, and these are completely natural drums. There's no sample baked into these tones, since Fabs has an awesome Tom Star Classic Bubinga kit. The toms shell sounds awesome, and since he hits so hard on the toms, you don't need samples. So let's check out how they sound soloed. Yep, sound really good, but I think we need a bit more punch to it and take care of some muddy mid frequencies. So let's start off ControlHub, maybe go over to the Mark Lewis pack, which I also have, and go to the drums and check out the toms presets that he has in his pack. So you heard it, unprocessed, and let's toggle through these presets. Yeah, the tom boss tight was the thing that I was looking for. Controlled the toms a bit more, scooped it out, and added some nice punch to it. So I'm really happy with those. So let's keep that and move over to the overheads and cymbals. And they are bussed together to one complete group, and it sounds like this, unprocessed. Yeah, nice variation with some crash rides, some shinas, and some hi-hats. Sounds really nice. But I think we need to control and tame the snare and brighten it up a bit. So let's solo it again and open up ControlHub. Let's go back to the Will Putney pack here. And see what we have here. Cymbal push, shine, smooth, or squash. So let's compare them to each other. Yeah, cymbal smooth was really nice sounding. A bit darker than I would want it, so I added some treble with this knob here, and so it brightened it up a bit more. Sounds really nice. Other than that, controlled the snare with some compression and added a bit more coloration to it, smoothing out the top end so it doesn't get so harsh. So sounds really nice. So let's check out the rooms. Sounds like this unprocessed. Yeah, nice long hall room sign that I got, and completed that as well with a snare room sample. It sounds like this. So let's see what we can get out of it if we engage ControlHub, maybe get some more compression and remove some muddiness. Let's see what happens. Really liking the Will Putney suit, so I'm gonna go with that in this one as well. There's no wrong with the Mark Lewis pack, it sounds awesome as well, but I really like Will Putney as a producer, so having his presets here, as I want to use them as much as possible. So let's see what room aggressive and so forth sounds like. I think the aggressive one, I hope we're gonna keep that. Well, let's see. Yep, we're going to start off with room aggressive, but dial down the mix to about 60%. That was a bit more trickier to choose. They all sounded great, but it's hard to hear in just solo what the track needs. So I'm going to start off with the aggressive preset, dialing down the mix button here, the mix knob. We might be have to change it up when we get the entire mix going. Maybe it's too punchy or too aggressive for this mix, but I'm going to start it off with that one. So The drum bus itself needs a bit more punch to it as well, so I'm just gonna check how that would sound with some presets. Let's start off maybe with I've got the Mark Lewis. I've tried that on the drums with the bus comp before, and let's see how it sounds in this mix. Yeah, let's toggle through some of the other presets that you have. Yep, sounds really nice. Let's see what Will Putney can do to the entire drum bus. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, it sounded pretty cool actually. It's a master chain, but if we take down the mix knob here to about 27%, it sounds really nice on drums as well. Mark Lewis one had specific drum bus models here, which could maybe fit a bit more, but I think I like the master chain model here. I'm gonna keep it and then see if we need to tweak it. Gonna lower the rooms as well because they were a bit loud. So let's check that out. Yep, sounds really cool. Let's hear it together with the bass and guitars. They are not processed, but let's see how the drums fare to the bass and drums that how they are right now. Yeah, sounds kick-ass. Let's move over to bass and see how that sounds unprocessed. Yeah, nice bass sound that I've just used Submission Audio's Eurobass 2, which I normally use for either demos or productions of my own, or if the bass needs to be replaced on a client's production. Let's see if we can make it a bit more aggressive than it already is. Start off by choosing the Will Putney pack again, and well, bass aggressive, we need a bit more aggressiveness. Let's see how that sounds. Flip through the other presets as well, just to check it out. the bass aggressive sounded really nice. It cleared up some muddiness in the bass. Let's hear it together with the rhythm guitars and see how it sounds. Yeah, it needs to be brought back a bit in volume, of course, but I like the sound. Let's check out the rhythm guitars and see how they sound, just unprocessed. Yeah, maybe a bit dull. Let's see if we can bring some life into them. Let's open it up. Will bring me some magic. Start off with this pack and then with this preset rather, and then work our way through and see what we can get out of it. Maybe the thick or the aggressive. Let's start with the aggressive and then maybe dial down the mix a bit. So I don't think I need that much compression to it, but I can just lower it with the mix knob. Maybe crank a bit more top end. Nope, don't need more top end. Sounds really great. Let's hear it together with the drums and bass. Yeah, really like how that sounds. Let's see if we can bypass all the plugins that we've engaged and see where we're at before and after. Yeah, really nice, punchy. I like where we are going with this. Let's see what the synth sounds like. Yeah, some enhancement that brings up some nice cool character to this track. Let's see how it sounds together with everything. That's pretty hard to distinguish, so I'm gonna open up ControlHub and see if we can get some more upfront action to it. Let's do maybe some guitar presets here. See how the rhythm aggressive sounds to it, and treat it like a guitar. See the chorus. Yep. Pushed it a bit further. So let's hear how it sounds together with the rest of the music on the chorus. Let me try to limit it a bit more. See how that would sound. Yeah, would need to automate that up and down on the different sections, but yep, sounds really nice with that plugin engaged. All right, so this is the stage in the mix where I normally mess around with some master bus processing. Since I want to have an idea where the song is going, if I need to tweak something individually in the instruments that we have processed so far. So either I start off by loading up some processing on the mix bus, or I do as we are doing right now, doing all the instruments first, putting on some processing, and then check out where we're at with the mix. And on the mix bus, I want some EQ, some saturation, compression, and some limiting. So I'm gonna start off by loading up an instance of the ControlHub here, and see what Will Putney has on his mix bus. Imagine having Will Putney's mastering chain at the top of your fingertips. It's pretty awesome, right? So we have an EQ presets here, some compression, and the general master chain. And just as a small disclaimer here, what I need to do here, the routing that I have set up here for the output themselves, not the individual tracks, is that I have to have the same instance of STL Tones or any other plugin on both channels here in order for you to hear the same thing that I'm hearing. So that's why I have double the plugins on both sides here, just for the stream and for my listening. So let's start off by going through the mastering chain and see how that sounds when you get some EQ and color and compression and limiting in the same preset, and see how that sounds. Yeah, Master Chain Modern did the trick. Had some nice EQ, color and compression, and a nice bit of limiting as well. That really sounded awesome to me. So I'm gonna keep that and then start working in some vocals. And for the vocals, I have both growls and cleans. So starting off with the growls and see how they sound. Just by themselves.
You were the one I used to turn to when my days were dark and gray. The worst of...
Yep, sound awesome. Mao is a really fucking great singer with both cleans and growls. Let's see if we can make him even meaner. Main scream should do the trick. Let's hear it in action.
You were the one I used to turn to when my days were dark and gray. The worst of times you pulled me through, my compass when I was astray. But now you shone again.
Yeah, that's where it's at. No need to try anymore. We're just gonna keep that and check out the singing vocals and see what we can do with those. Let's hear them first without any processing.
Truth behind the lies, you let me down.
Yep, cool. Sounds really nice, but maybe we can shine them up a bit and push them a bit further up against all the other instruments. It's a pretty dense mix with heavy distorted guitars and bass and drums, so we need something to push it a bit further on. So let's hear it with some processing.
Truth behind the lies, you let me down. You broke my heart in two. Truth behind the lies, you let me down. You broke my heart in two.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And that was the vocal main sing. It's pretty easy, just dial it up, just put it up, and sounds good right away. So let's hear both the singing and screaming together. I'm gonna mute the backing so they don't get in the way. Let's hear how they sound.
Truth behind the lies, you let me down. Broke my heart in two. You stabbed a knife in my back as soon as you could. And now I know the truth behind the lies. When all is done, forgotten, but not forgiven.
Yeah, awesome. Let's hear some of the backing screams first of all. And they are located there, so solo them up.
But not forgiven.
Yeah, fuck yeah. What do we have for them? Vocal overdub scream, maybe? Pretty basic.
But not forgiven.
Shit. Mao turned into a monster. Let's hear it with the leads.
When all is done, forgotten, but not forgiven. You are the queen of this.
Yeah, that's what we need. And the backup clean vocals, let's check them out.
You let me down.
Yeah. Sound okay, but a bit boring. Let's hear it over at the other chorus.
Broke my heart in two. But not forgiven. You let me down.
Yeah, sound pretty wimpy. If I can say so myself, and I can because it's my track and I'm singing on it. Let's see if we can juice it up. Vocal double sing.
You let me down. But not my heart in two. Let me down. You
See with the lead.
let me down. You broke my heart in two. Let me down. You let me down. You broke my heart in two. And now I know.
Yeah. Could use maybe some tuning. But it sounds really good sound-wise. I have some whispers going on as well to enhance the growls. Let's hear how they sound.
I was astray, but now you show no difference.
Cool. Maybe we can distort them some to add some more bite to the screams. Heavily distorted. Let's see.
I was astray, but now you show a different side.
Let's hear them together with the screams.
I was astray, but now you show a different side. The side that you tried to hide.
Yeah. Let's with everything.
I was astray, but now you show a different side. The side that you tried to hide. The fool I was for certain. It's time to pull down the curtain. Time to pull down.
Yeah, there we need some lo-fi effect to that growl, to that vocal. So let's open up ControlHub on that channel alone and see what preset we can load up. On the vocals side, maybe this one, vocal width distorted space. See how that sounds.
Time to pull down the curtain.
Yeah, really cool with some delay trails to it. But we would like some lo-fi effect as well. So let's use the pre-EQ filters and scoop out some lows. Maybe not that much, maybe down to like 800, and then this one up to 3000 and see how it sounds with those engaged.
Time to pull down the curtain. 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 Time to pull down.
Yeah, cool. Let's crank some mids. Let's see if we can create like a telephone effect.
Time to pull down the curtain.
Yeah, I think that would do perfectly. Let's hear it in the mix.
Time to pull down the curtain. You let me down.
Yeah, did the trick. All right, so that's it with the vocals. And the last thing I'm gonna do before I'm pretty happy with this mix is I'm gonna add a bit of reverb and some distortion to the drums. The reverb to make the kit glued together a bit more and give it some life, and the distortion is to give them a bit more push through this dense mix. So let's check it out. All right, so let's start off with the snare and have that routed over here to a drum reverb bus, which I'm probably going to use for both snare and toms. Usually the way that I work is to have the toms and snare on the same ambient track. Maybe I'm going to add some reverb to the kick to give it a bit more realism, since it's just a plain sample, and give it a bit more air and give it a bit more length to the kick. You can't get away with it in a mix like this because it's not as fast as some mixes could be. If you have a super brutal death metal track, you might not need some reverb on the kick, but in a mix like this with semi-fast kicks, it can help to give it a bit more length and a bit more massiveness to the kick. But let's start off with the snare, as I said. So I'm going to open up a ControlHub here and go into the Putney expansion and see where we have, yeah, here we have some snare ambience. So let's start with this snare chamber and work our way through. Starting off, I'm gonna solo the snare first off and then check how it sounds in the full drum mix. So let's toggle through these ambience. Yeah, I think this bus snare room splat fitted this snare the way I wanted. Give it a bit more like brightness and splat as the preset is called. So let's check it out how it sounds in the full mix. Yeah, I like that. And let's see if that reverb fits the toms as well. So I'm just gonna engage the drum reverb send to that FX bus, solo the toms and shake it out how that sounds. Yeah. That's cool. I don't want it to be super long since that could take over what's coming after the tom hits. So having a bit shorter but splatty reverb like that sounds really good. So check it out with the rest of the kit and the drum mix. Let's turn it off. I went a bit before, so here the snare as well. You can tell it's a bit ambience even though I turned that off, this reverb plug-in here, but it's mainly because I have pretty long room sound to the kit. So, but adding this reverb, I think it really helped. So let's check out if we can get away with maybe adding some reverb on the kick. I said that if we had some kicks that were a bit faster than on this track, you could use reverb on a kick track that is a bit faster, but you can automate it on and off. So if you have slower parts of kicks in a really fast song, you can engage reverb on those parts to make them stand out and make the kick a bit fatter with using reverb. So just a side note. Let's send the kick to kick reverb, solo it, and then see if we can find a kick ambience preset here. I'm always going back to Will Putney's suit because I think it sounds really good. Let's see. Yeah, we have here kick extension, full, and presence. So let's try those out, see how they sound. Let's toggle through. Yeah, with just the kick solo, the kick presence and reverb really sounded great. So let's check it out with the entire drum mix. Yeah, I think it sounds really great. It's not as long, so it would interfere with these faster parts as well. So I think it sounds pretty good. So let's move on with adding some distortion to the kick, snare, and toms. And for the drum distortion, I've added another FX track here, which I have routed the kick, snare, and tom to. And let's start that up and find a distortion preset. See if we have one for drums mainly, or if we need to go to another folder. Here we go. We have both kick and snare distortion here. So let's start off with the kick and see if that fits with the snare as well. Yeah, I think the kick distortion presence, I think that will fit this mix the best. Let's hear it in context with the rest of the drums. Yeah, sounds great. Adds distortion and pushes the kick further forward in the mix. I think it will help in this dense mix. So let's check out if we can use the same preset for the snare and see how that sounds. I'm gonna start a second FX track here and see if we can use one of the snare presets instead. Let's call this snare dist, and we need to color it correctly. So let's start with the snare distortion ring enhancer and then toggle through the rest of them and see and hear which one fits the best. Try and not add as much. Take it down a notch. Yeah. Think this one is the best. Snare distortion thickener. Let's hear it in context with the rest of the drums. Sounds great. All right, so lastly, let's check out if we can use either one of the FX tracks that we created for either the kick or snare, or if we have to engage a third FX track for the tom dist. But I think we can start off by listening to the snare dist and see if that works. I've chosen this area which we've heard before with those 3 tom hits. So let's hear how they sound with this snare dist engaged. I think that works. Can try and add the kick distortion as well and see if it sounds better or the same. Yeah, maybe the kick distortion felt better. And let's hear it in contest. Yeah, sounds great. So let's hear what the reverb and distortion does to the drums when they are in the complete mix. Right, so I've soloed the music bus here where I have all my drums and other instruments routed to. And let's just toggle the reverb and the distortion on and off with all the instruments playing, and then see what they do to the drum mix basically. So let's hear it. Yeah, so it sounds more like a finished mix. So adding some reverb and some distortion to the drums really helped to push them forward in this dense mix. Alright, so let's take a listen to the entire mix with and without the ControlHub engaged. I'll do a couple of passes here. First off, I'll start off with the intro, and then I'll move over to the chorus, and you can hear the massive difference that this plugin does to the entire mix. So let's check it out. So as you can see here on the screen, the red regions down below is with the ControlHub on, and the green regions are with the ControlHub off. So just start off from the intro and then move over to the chorus. So let's check it out.
You were the one I used to turn to when my days were dark and bright. Where's the times you pulled me through? I compass when I was this way. But then, time to pull down the curtain. You let me down, broke my heart in two. You stabbed a knife in my back as soon as you could. And now I know.
Alright, so there you go. Evidence on how you can make an awesome sounding mix using only one plugin. So that's ControlHub for you. Thank you so much for watching my demo of the STL Tones ControlHub mixing plugin. Hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer. Otherwise, you'll find all the information you need over at stltones.com. And if you want to support me, please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever I release a new video. Put a thumbs up to this one, it really matters to me. And until the next one, see you later.